Lesson 3.8, Addition and Subtraction with Mixed Numbers in your pre-algebra book. I'm on page number 227. This could very possibly take 2 lectures to get through everything because we are adding and subtracting mixed numbers, which might take a little bit of practice. So let's get started here. Again, page 227. What we're looking at doing is combining mixed numbers. Now, earlier we were multiplying mixed numbers. Today we're going to add mixed numbers. Now, remember in the past I said that when we have a mixed number, that is the same as adding the whole part of the number to the fraction. It was not multiplying, which in this case, that's going to be a good thing. Because if we separate that to 3 plus 2/5 and we separate our 4 to 4 plus 1/5, it makes it a little bit easier. Because remember, with our adding, it's we can add any numbers in any order we want. We don't have to go from left to right or add a certain way. We can pick the numbers we want to add those, and then add the other numbers that we want to add, and it makes it a lot easier. So we add our whole numbers first, and then we add our fractions. Again, common denominators. That happens to be the case in this one. So we just put that over 5, and we add our 2 and our 1 and get 3. And we're done with 7 and 3/5. So not a whole lot to doing something like that. Problem we run into, though, there's always a problem, is if we're trying to add numbers. Let's just make a little bit of a change here. 3 2/3, 4 1/5. Alright. Problem with this one is our denominators are different. So we can't add the fractional part of these mixed numbers because the denominators are different. So we add our whole number parts. We get 7. And then we have 2/3 plus 1/5 that we eventually have to tag on to the 7. So we find common denominators, which we have 3 and a 5, and you remember how to do that. We find least common multiple. So we're looking for a number that both 3 and 5 go evenly into. So we break this down to a product of primes, and the 5 to a product of primes are both already prime. The 3 occurs once here, the 5 occurs once here. Multiply those together, and our common denominator is 15. That being the case, in order to get from 2/3 to having a 15 in the denominator, we're going, let me just erase this so I have some room here. We've got a 15 down here. We multiplied this 3 by 5 to get a 15 here, so we multiply the 2 times a 5. And this 5 here, to get this to be a 15, we had to multiply that 5 times 3, so the top times 3, which gives us that. And then we add our fractions. So we've got that tagged on to our 7, so that gives us 7 13/15. So when you're doing these mixed numbers, adding and later on subtracting, you have to remember that you're going to be adding the whole parts and then adding the fractional parts there. Makes it a lot easier. Now if you want, if we have 3 2/3 and we have 4 1/5, you can, what we did in just a minute ago is we added the whole parts, 7, and then we added the fractions and then put them together. If you would prefer, sometimes when the numbers are small like this, you can change everything to improper fractions first. So 3 times 3 is 9, 10, 11 over 3, and 21 over 5. Now you can change them to common denominators. So we multiplied this. Again, 15 was our number, so we had to multiply that times 5 and that times 5. And again, that times 3 and that times 3, so we get our common denominator of 15. And we have 15 there. 21 times 3 is 63. We can add those together and get 118 over 15, then we have to change it back to, if I added my 63, 110, I think that's right, 15 here, and we have to, that's our answer, 118 over 15, but we have to change it to a mixed number now. So 15 goes into 118, I'm going to assume 7 times, with 8, 3, 1 left over, 13 15s left over. So that's our answer. So you can either put the 3 and 4 together and get your 7, and then add the fractional parts by finding common denominators, or you can change it to an improper fraction, find common denominators, add, switch it back to mixed numbers, and get your 7 and 13 15ths. Now, either way is correct, but usually when your whole part of the fraction, the 3 and 4, are large numbers, it's easier to add the whole numbers first, then add the fractions, than it is to go through the whole improper fraction thing and add together. So, just a couple things for you to think about before you start doing that. Well, let's look at more of a column way of doing this. Let's use the same numbers here. And we're adding those. So before we did it horizontally, let's do it vertically here. See how that works. But I'm going to go ahead and turn the tape off, change the battery, and we will continue on in just a minute.